Hello, everyone. This isn't a Drew's Clues, but this will just be a little segment from England, updating you guys on some crazy stories for the episode. I figured I'd pitch in a little bit. I have 3 crazy stories to share with you. One is about a secret, one is about a creature, and the other is about a face, which are unrelated. They're all unrelated. But here's the first one. We'll talk about the creature first. I have wandered out into the field, very far in that direction, somewhere. There's a large tree, not that one, but further back onto the field. You have to go through a gate to get to it. And I was up there with a group, and I took a picture of the tree. Beautiful tree. We call it the Joshua tree. The stars were out, so I was able to get a long exposure photo, and it was just beautiful. But because the stars were behind the tree, everything, including the branches, was like a silhouette in the foreground. And there's the shape of something sitting on the tree. Almost looks like a really big bat, but I didn't notice it when I took the picture. Fast forward about a month, around Halloween, very beginning of November, I go out to the campfire, and we have a bonfire for a English holiday that I can't remember the name of. So we walk down the loop, and you know what? While I'm outside, I can actually go ahead and show you. We walk down the loop, way out that way, and it follows all the way down that way, kind of towards there, and a little further back, towards the Joshua tree, actually. Lots of woods, lots of open pasture, lots of sheep. And as I'm walking on the trail, part of their holiday is they launch fireworks and blow them up. It was so cloudy, though, that the fireworks would explode over the clouds, and so it just sounded like bombshells going off. But as I'm walking along the path, I start recording. I have my flashlight. I'm walking alone. It's maybe about a half-mile walk there. So I'm just clicking my flashlight on and off so I can see if I'm going to step in puddles, so I can see where the sheep grates are, the things which catch the sheep to keep them from falling in, stuff like that. I'm walking along, clicking my flashlight on and off, and I'm recording, and I turn to the side to record the sound of the bombshells, because I thought I might capture the light. I didn't. And so I turn back and continue walking and point the camera at the bonfire, which I can see through the woods now. And that was that. I had a good time that night. But when I watched the video again to send it to Ian, there was something at the end. I noticed that aside from the sound of the bombshells, there was the sound of something that was like running or like breathing heavily behind me. And as I turned my camera around, just something passes the screen. Like that's the silhouette of just like a face, red, with 2 little dots like for the eyes, just came right across the screen. And so that was freaky. There was no one behind me for like half a mile because I'd already gone so far before the next group came. And so there's something around, I feel like. Either someone's pranking me or there's just like bats. So yeah, there's a creature out here, and I haven't found it yet, and I haven't seen it since. I kind of don't want to. Ian will stitch in the video when I'm describing it so you guys can kind of see what I saw. Second crazy story. I talked about it, a big duck. Yeah, so this place called York. We had a trip there a few weeks ago. I personally didn't go, but a lot of the students did. And what I found out is that York is somewhat famous for an abnormally tall duck. Ian will also put the picture of that in the episode here. It's like an abnormally large duck, maybe like 3 feet tall or something absurd. But York is famous for it, and that duck has been missing since May, and like all of York is in mourning for that duck. And this is actually kind of cool. Sometimes we get trains that come by, which is cool. Anyways, yeah, the giant duck in York. His name is actually Longboy. They named him Longboi. It's an actual thing. And York was just famous for this duck, but it's been missing since May, and they've been so sad about it. And I wonder if that has anything to do with the creature that I kept seeing. So, yeah, I found out about that. It just seemed absolutely unbelievable, but it's true. There's like a really, really freakishly tall duck. So there's some weird animals in England. And then the third crazy story, the third crazy story is of secrets that I've been finding around the castle. So the first one was a secret attic room in the hallway between my room, number 40, and room number 39, right across from us. Apparently there's a bunch of stuff from old students stuck up in there, like notes and different messages and things like that. I've been finding similar things throughout the castle. And it's so big that there's so many different areas that you can look that you wouldn't think to look. And there's still a lot of rooms I haven't been in. But I was sitting under the stairs one time, and it's a really big stairwell in the main hall. And I looked to the right, and what I thought was just a wooden decoration on the wall, because it's a nice place, is an old door. And so I go to try and open it, and it doesn't have a handle. I go to look through the keyhole, and I can't see anything. So I'm like, oh, it probably just doesn't move at all. But then I tried pushing on it, and the hinges still rotated. So I'm like, well, it can't be bolted to the wall if the hinges rotate. So I decided, you know what? I'll come around, out from under the stairwell, go around the corner, and look on the other side of what would be where that door would lead. But that's just the library. And the library has brand new walls up, as well as new wallpaper. So I thought, I guess it wasn't used to come through here, unless they covered it up. So I go back around, and as I'm coming back around to the stairwell, I look to the left and notice that there's an arch, right? And it's about maybe 4.5 feet across where the door under the stairs leads to, between that wall and the wall of the library. I thought that it would be like a small space, but it's like a passageway big enough to fit 1 or 2 people side by side. So I look in, I grab my flashlight, and I peep in through the keyhole, and on the inside, there is the painted texture of old stone. Like, for example, this texture of stone right here, it's painted onto the back wall, like by hand with acrylic paint. So I don't know what that's about, but I saw that and I was intrigued, and I haven't gone back to try and open it yet. But there's some type of like passageway behind the wall, because it goes to the right. I could shine my flashlight and see. I was talking to Ezra, one of the students here. He was actually one of the students that was walking to the campfire with me that night, and I told him about the creature, and he was also with me at the tree when I took a picture of it and there was something on it. But I was talking to him about maybe trying to crack open the door, and he said that it could have been a servant's passageway, because when this house was built, the masters of the house, of the grounds, would not have walked the same routes as servants. The servants would be allowed to. So they would have routes in the walls so that they could get from room to room to help out each room. Whether that would be to go do housekeeping, like cleaning it up, or bringing food, or helping if someone's sick. But they wouldn't have the main paths. They would have secondary paths. So that's 3 crazy stories of some interesting things going on. I will try and look into each of them more. I'll see if I can find any leads on where the giant duck went. I'll see if I can find any leads on the creature in the face, and I will see if I can figure out where the secret passages go. Yep, just thought I'd send a quick little update. Hope that everyone listening in today's episode or watching today's episode on YouTube is doing well. Thanks for your continued support of the show. I miss being on it, and I'm excited to record some Christmas content when I come back in 3 weeks. So enjoy the rest of this episode.